I come to make an announcement. Shadow the Hedgehog's a bitch.
Stay hydrated, kids. Good morning, after evening, my beautiful people. My name is All Night, and we gotta talk about that state of play. For those of you not in the know, on January 31st, PlayStation hosted their first State of Play for 2024, and lo and behold, Sega just cannot put their foot off the gas. Revealed unto the world is Sonic X Shadow Generations. Finally, I can search for Sonic X Shadow in peace. Leading up to the State of Play, there were, of course, rumors and rumblings on Twitter, as there always are, but it does appear that these rumors were actually true. The other strange thing that kind of culminated into this is that Sonic actually has a franchise sale on Steam right now, and of all of the games that are on Steam, Sonic Generations was the only one that didn't get a discount. Thought that was pretty interesting. We'll talk about that in a minute. So Sonic X Shadow Generations looks to be a remaster of the original Sonic Generations game. That was, of course, available on Xbox 360, that generation of consoles. It was backwards compatible with Xbox One, and it's also available on Steam right now. Sonic X Generations, of course, is looking to be a remaster to get the game onto modern consoles, run it at 60 FPS, 4K resolution, all that good stuff. It's coming out to PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, the latest Xbox Series, and a PC port. And the one thing about this remaster that has the internet buzzing is the Hedgehog, the myth, the legend himself, Shadow the Hedgehog. In a sort of Mario Bowser's Fury situation, it is a remaster of an existing game being ported to modern consoles with an additional mini-campaign tacked onto it, starring Shadow the Hedgehog. Which I am brutally thankful for, as someone that played through Sonic Forces, beat that, and then immediately returned to the game only for the episode Shadow DLC to come out later. I am thankful that we have a modern Shadow experience that is not tied to that. And that is the key here, is that this is a campaign starring Shadow, not just a DLC, not just brief couple of levels starring him. No, from the official PlayStation blog. On top of the remaster of the original Sonic Generations, fans will get to experience new content and play as Shadow the Hedgehog as he embarks on his own journey parallel to Sonic's. For those of you that forgot about Generations' story, and I don't blame you, it wasn't that great, Sonic Generations was, of course, an excuse for modern Sonic and classic Sonic to meet each other in this timeline spinning story where Sonic and classic Sonic go back to the past to old levels and, of course, go through the celebratory, levels throughout the year. You had the classic era, you had the Dreamcast era, and you had the modern era. Classic and modern Sonic had stages themed to their playstyle in all of those eras throughout, until eventually you learn it was just Eggman. All along. Yeah, that was sure a story. That and, despite how good Sonic Generations plays, you could probably beat that game in an afternoon. That's how short it was. So to see we're getting a remaster with new content is very refreshing. The one thing that continues to bug me about the remaster, about the revealed trailer itself, is specifically Black Doom.
Shadow, it's me, the devil. I'm here to convince you to do sin.
For those of you, of course, that do not remember, Shadow the Hedgehog debuted in 2001 in Sonic Adventure 2. The character became so popular, he got his own spin-off title called Shadow the Hedgehog, wherein we eventually learned that Black Doom, the leader of an alien race known as the Black Arms, is actually responsible for Shadow the Hedgehog's creation. And of course, Shadow's got like a little bit of Black Arms DNA and all that fun stuff. You know the drill. But for all 5 of you that played Shadow the Hedgehog, alongside me, you will remember that at the very ending of the game, in the true ending, the one that's canon, Black Doom was defeated. He was the Black Devil, technically, and he got sent to the bottom of a pit or something or other, but Super Shadow defeated him at the end of that game, so we assumed that Black Doom was not around anymore. So we'll have to wait and see what excuse they have for bringing Black Doom back. This could be the Time Eater scenario, where it's the Time Eater that brought back the classic villains, and alongside them was Black Doom doing his own thing. I am curious though, even though Black Doom did have reality warping and illusion-based powers in Shadow the Hedgehog, it solely reminds me of a certain other Edgehog in the Sonic universe. And yeah, I know he's supposed to be a jackal, but infinite! Sonic Forces referenced in the year of our Lord, 2024. Who would have known? Hell, Shadow the Hedgehog getting any spotlight in 2024 is... oh man, it is so refreshing to know that Sega are finally confident in looking at their prior characters again and giving them the spotlight as opposed to just Sonic. One other big topic of discussion that we have to talk about when it comes to this remaster is the original Sonic Generations. Sonic Generations is still on Steam. As of the recording of this video, I did check. I already own Sonic Generations, but the store page is still up as of the recording of this video. But a lot of people are really worried that Sonic Generations is going to see itself be delisted from the Steam store. Why is this a big deal? Well, Sonic Generations has been the one Sonic game that has received the most mod support over its over-decade lifespan. I personally haven't dabbled too harshly in Sonic Generations modding, but I have seen so many amazing mod videos from some amazing creators out there that really wanted to bring these passion projects to life in Sonic Generations. But even still, I don't think the modding community needs to be as worried about Sonic Generations being delisted from Steam. And here's why. The specific wording of the game is that it is a collection of Sonic Generations plus this new Shadow campaign on the side. Of course, with it being a remaster, it is mainly to up-res the game, get it running at 60 FPS natively and 4K resolution for the next-gen consoles. So that to me tells me that this has to exist as a separate entity, a separate product to enjoy. So would they have reason to delist Sonic Generations? Maybe, maybe not. There's a delicate business story to tell when it comes with that on, what product you want to drive people to, the brand new $60 product or the old $20 product. But even still, I digress. In the short term, I can't see them delisting Generations just yet, solely because of the amount of time that game has existed on the Steam store, the amount of modding, support, and the community that has been built around the OG Sonic Generations. I don't see Sega doing that. Yes, other Sonic games have been delisted from Steam in the past, but not to this level. And not for this reason solely, At the end of the day, if you are concerned, I would not call it a waste of your money to go get Sonic Generations right now if you really want those mods. Otherwise, let's wait and see how Shadow plays like, because we gotta talk about my boy. Shadow the Hedgehog is a very particular Sonic character in my eyes, because he is one of the first that I ever grew up with. I will get to this long, crazy story about my relationship with the Sonic franchise maybe in another video, but to put it simply, Sonic Adventure 2 was my very first game in the Sonic franchise. And of course, Shadow the Hedgehog came right along with that. I've always been mostly like a Knuckles guy. I really like Knuckles a lot, but Shadow has always been right next to Knuckles for my favorite Sonic character. His story has always had a lot of crazy depth, a lot of ins and outs, the relationship with Black Doom, the backstory with Maria. Damn, we're really about to get Maria getting murked in 4K in 2024, aren't we?
Maria!
So the character has a lot of, I don't even want to call it baggage, but there is a lot to Shadow the Hedgehog that is easily explorable in a brand new experience. But the other thing, though, about this legacy is that it is tied to Sonic the Hedgehog's, I want to say, darker side. We had a couple of years there where the Sonic franchise kind of had this awkward identity phase. I want to say it was probably between Shadow the Hedgehog and Sonic 06, where no one really knew what to do with the franchise story-wise, so they just kept throwing new monsters, new deities into the fray, just to have all of this convoluted lore that we now have to sort through in the modern era. The wild thing is that ever since, I want to say, Sonic Unleashed, we kind of ignored some of that lore, pretending it never existed. And now in Sonic Frontiers, and Sonic Generations by extension, we're also finally acknowledging that lore. So, I don't know, it's crazy, and I mean, when we get to the topics of what's canon and non-canon in any franchise, really, you can get into some deep weeds that I only have so much time to talk about in one video. But what I am trying to get to here is that for a long time, Sega has been very afraid of their past. They have been afraid of the fact that Shadow used guns, that Shadow wasn't a vehicle, that he used the word damn, that they were afraid of Sonic Riders, the spin-off racing game, so they put him in a car. They were afraid of the edgier, kind of more serious sides of the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise for so long that we just continually had games like Sonic Unleashed, Sonic Colors, Sonic Generations that focused more on the lighter side of the Sonic character. which is perfectly fine. I get it, Sonic the Hedgehog is not Final Fantasy. That has never been what the franchise has been about. But the key to Sonic's success, and I think this came very apparent early on, was of course that slight edge. And I'm not talking about Shadow Edge, I am talking about Sonic the Hedgehog type of edge. And it's a very specific kind of edge that you're talking about in the gaming world. Think something more contrarian, like maybe Bomb Rush Cyberfunk and or Jet Set Radio. Something that is meant to be defiant and have an attitude as opposed to being happy-go-lucky and going with everyone else on how, how things are supposed to be done. That was the charm to OG Sonic the Hedgehog, classic Genesis, Sega does what Nintendo don't attitude. And it's that slight attitude and edge to the franchise, again, not talking about that, it's that sort of charm that I have been missing from this franchise for so long, and we finally got a taste of that in Sonic Frontiers. So to see Sega doubling down on respecting what worked back in the day, while also just moving forward and telling new stories, is amazing. I am so stoked for this game. I am unbelievably stoked for this game. The other thing we have to acknowledge in 2024 is this is the unofficial year of Shadow the Hedgehog. I know it's been kind of a meme to call it the year of Shadow because we have Sonic Movie 3 coming out and Year of Luigi was like a big old marketing ploy by Nintendo. Sega has not officially said that it is in fact the year of Shadow. This isn't some sort of grand celebratory thing that they are officially doing. But that autumn 2024 release date is awfully close to that December 2024 release date for Sonic Movie 3. And, we of course have a massive appearance and starring role with Shadow in the third Sonic movie. We still don't even know who is voicing Shadow in either of these games. Come to think of it, who voices Shadow currently? Who voices Shadow in Sonic Generations? Is there really no listing? It's not Jason Griffith. In terms of the Sonic movie, we're probably going to get some crazy hype celebrity announcement for Shadow's voice in that. But in Sonic Generations, the game proper, he was voiced by a gentleman called Kirk Thornton. I don't think he really did a bad job in that game. I believe he may actually be the current voice of Shadow the Hedgehog in the brief appearances that he has. The fanboy in me, of course, prays for Jason Griffith's return. I really did enjoy his portrayal of both Sonic and Shadow. Then again, that's bias, that's nostalgia glasses, that's what I grew up on. But regardless, we have the normal Sonic Generations as the package there, and then we're gonna have an entire story starring Shadow. So I gotta wonder, is Kirk gonna come back and just do some additional lines? Are they gonna try and get Jason Griffith back? What are we doing with this? The other major call out that I have regarding Shadow's campaign as well, the remaster does appear to be running on Hedgehog Engine 1. They most likely are just upscaling it again to that 60 FPS 4K resolution for the modern gen consoles, but the Shadow portions definitely are running on a different engine, and that of course would be our newly christened Hedgehog Engine 2. That's the engine, of course, that Sonic Frontiers runs on. This has people a little worried because they're looking at all 10 seconds of footage that we have and are instantly drawing conclusions about how the game's gonna play. Is it gonna feel as janky or as stiff as cyberspace levels did in Sonic Frontiers? I believe the jury have forgotten what it means to make a sequel to a game and to improve what was already there before. Just because it's new and just because it's on the same engine does not mean it's going to play the exact same. I don't know, it is the bleeding optimist in me that is saying that, of course, this game's going to be hype, this game's going to be amazing, and I'm going to have fun with it. I'm getting this game day one no matter what. Again, I am biased. But regardless, I think that there is a lot that you have to look into beyond just 10 seconds of gameplay footage. We are more than likely going to definitely see this marketing campaign ramp up closer to both this game's release and Sonic Movie 3's release. I mean, shit, we have the Super Bowl right around the corner, and we know of at least one Sonic character that is making an appearance there. So, needless to say, I think the Sonic hype is continuing into 2024, and without a doubt, we are in the year of Shadow the Hedgehog. A couple more closing thoughts on the game itself. I am definitely excited to see how Shadow's gameplay is shaken up from Sonic's base gameplay. You can tell in the gameplay that Shadow does have some additional abilities. For example, I love the nice touch of him using a Chaos Control Teleport as the homing attack. And you can just, if you blink and you miss it, you can see him tossing a Chaos Spear at Bio Lizard, check it out. I am so excited for that Bio Lizard rematch fight. That is gonna be... On the topic of Bio Lizard, this is my plea, this is my wish, this is my pie in the sky dream for this game. But if we are celebrating Shadow the Hedgehog, and we are celebrating a game that stars both Sonic and Shadow in equal parts, in equal celebration, you gotta bring Crush 40 back in the studio. In my bones, I need a remix, remaster, something of Live and Learn, or a brand new song by Crush 40 exclusively for Shadow. Yes, I know we have I Am All of Me, but could you imagine? Sonic Frontiers spoiled the hell out of us with Kellen Quinn in the studio, just going ballistic with metal vocals for all the Titan boss fights. That was just utter insanity. We were so spoiled in that game. So with a brand new, fresh Sonic game under our radars now, I have to believe that we're most likely going to get something crazy when it comes to amazing soundtracks. Look, I actually can't name a Sonic game that has a bad soundtrack. Like, seriously, like, genuinely. Sonic 06, full of bangers. Sonic Forces even had bangers, despite that game being garbage. Man, do I want to talk about Sonic Forces someday. No, I don't. There will be more to talk about, of course, with Sonic the Hedgehog in 2024, as there is with anything else on this channel. I just love many different things, and I'm sure half of you are equally as confused as I am as to what this channel's theme is. But those are my thoughts on Sonic X Shadow Generations. Let me know down below in the comments what your big hope is for the game, with it being a remaster for the Shadow campaign. What Shadow bosses do you want to see come back? Let me know down below. Don't forget to like the video, show the algorithm some love if you enjoyed what I had to say here today, subscribe for more content, and as always, I have been your host All Night, and do not forget to stay loved, keep loving, and have a wonderful night.